everybody, my name is Darrin Drda. I am a graphic designer and illustrator and sometimes do a little bit of animation. And I live in California. I used to live in Champaign-Urbana for a number of years. And so unfortunately, I'm not able to be there in person to teach a class or help out in other ways with the Boneyard Arts Festival, which I remember fondly. But I can do it virtually, which is what I'm going to do today. So at the end of this video, instructional video, I'll direct us to my website so you can learn a little bit more about me, but I think I've said enough just as by way of intro. So today I want to talk about making infographics and other things and posters and flyers and things on a little platform called Canva. So you might have heard of it. It is called spelled C-A-N-V-A, like canvas without an S. And it's an online platform for graphic design where you can design business cards and logos and posters and flyers, as I mentioned, and even do animation and things like that. So it's a pretty versatile platform. I just have to say, as a disclaimer, I don't actually use Canva. I have on a couple of occasions, but as a graphic designer, I'm all equipped with the Adobe tools. I'm a Mac person, so I do a lot of stuff on Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. InDesign is the other one that I use. Those main three for designing books and things like that. And Illustrator for logos, since it's particularly good for that, and Photoshop for just about everything else. So let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen, and the first thing I'll show you is the Canva website. It looks something like this when you log in. Now I should say you can do Canva on the phone. If you only have a phone to work with, it's possible to do it. It's a little bit clunky and I wouldn't personally recommend it, but if it's the only way you have to go and you really want to make something, get it out there quickly and have access to a printer or a way to send the file to a printer, even at Kinko's or whatever, copy shop, local copy shop, then you got to do what you got to do. But I would recommend finding a laptop computer or a desktop computer. Even at the library, you can do this. They let you have the screen time for free. So anyway, you want to go to canva.com, C-A-N-V-A, and as you'll see, there's lots of different things you can do on Canva. You can do presentations, social media, video, print products. So we're going to be doing a print product. And in fact, underneath here, you can see all these, same thing with a little logo next to one. You can do Instagram. As you can see, there's some animation going on, some videos. So lots of fun things you can do. But Tanya Parker, who invited me to do this, thank you, Tanya. She recommended that I do, requested that I do an infographic. So let's do that. So one way to do it is to go into print products and all that. Another way to do it is to go up here where it says create a design, and you'll get this big pull down menu, and you can get an Instagram post, a poster, a logo, etc. So right here we see the infographic. They've got this, the dimensions set at 800 by 2000, which is quite long and skinny. So you can kind of just imagine a long skinny poster that you might hang on the wall or on a doorway or something. So let's click on infographic, and it takes us to our creation page. So we have a blank template over here on the right, as you can see. This site uses a lot of templates, right? So templates are basically pre-designed posters and things where you can, all the elements are basically in place, but you can rearrange them, or you can change the fonts or the colors, and you can sort of work with a template as a starting point. So you can start from scratch with this blank canvas and give it a color and throw some type on it and all that kind of stuff. Or you can start with a template. We're going to start with a template, and we're going to do one about COVID-19, which is, thankfully, it's winding down, at least in most parts of the country and the world, very fortunately, but it's still worth maybe doing infographic about. So before I click on my template, which will appear, well, I'll just click on it now. It'll appear over here, as you can see. And then you'll see this list of tools all the way on the left over here. So that is uploads, photos, elements, text, audio, video, background, folders, and etc. So uploads is a useful thing because it allows you to upload your own files, your own pictures, and photographs and drawings and other elements that you might have. You can upload your own, or you can use the many different elements and graphic things that are provided on the site, as you'll see. So there's also photos here. So if you wanted a photo, COVID photo, we could go through all of these. We could search through all of these, maybe find somebody wearing a mask or something. There's lots and lots of photos and things. I should say, as soon as I click on that, it's going to actually appear on my template over here. I can delete it very easily, but that's what's you have to be aware of. And I can also search for something up here. So if I search for, say, mask and click OK, it's going to give me lots of images of people with a mask. And one of the things you'll notice right away is that some of them, most of them say free. Canva is generally, it's free, unless you want to pay for what they call the pro version. And if you do that, they give you access to lots more photos and things. As you can see over there, it's got a little insignia and it says pro. So if I click on that, they're going to ask me to pay for it. So I'm not going to click on that. We're going to click on one of these later. As you can see, this picture right here of this woman in the yellow shirt and the brown coat, she's the same woman on our template that they used over here. So that's our photos. And then elements, there's a lot of different elements. There's shapes, frames, lines, arrows, circles, all this stuff at the top, gradients. So different kinds of things that you can search for. We're going to be working with some of these things later on, like in our chart here, we have some chart elements, and we have some, they even have a whole section, believe it or not, about coronavirus. So we have all of these different coronavirus icons and elements and drawings that we can choose from and put on our poster. Text is pretty straightforward. That's when you want to add a heading. You can just add whatever you want, but you can also change the text on the template, which we'll be doing. And then they also have presets for like cool effects for the text. If you want a cool effect like a drop shadow or a glow or any of those kind of things, you can use one of those. So, and then audio, we're not going to be working with that because we're just doing an infographic, and videos. That's more advanced. Maybe we can get to that in the future, but for now, we're just going to redesign this poster. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this poster because as you can see, it's quite small. And look down here on the lower right-hand corner, you'll see this little slide bar. You can zoom in as far as you want to see your poster more clearly. And then you can move up using the scroll bar, or I'm just using a 2-finger scroll on my Mac. So first thing I notice about this is that I really don't like this background color. It's very boring, kind of a beige. It doesn't do much for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that color. And the way I do that is I'm going to click up here where it says background color right next to all the photos. And if I click on that, I get a little menu, and I'm going to change it to something more eye-catching, like let's just say like a bright yellow. Okay, already looking better. The other thing I don't like about this is the font. It's a little, to me, I would say also a little bit boring. And what I want to do is I want to have a subheading. I want COVID-19 to be the heading, and I want know the numbers to be the subheading, meaning a little bit smaller and probably in a different font. So what I'm going to do is highlight that. So when I click on a text box, it gives you the editing function. You can double click to highlight an entire word, or triple click to highlight the entire text box. So what I'm going to do, or you can click and drag. So I'm clicking and dragging, and I'm going to actually just do a Command X, which is get rid of it. And I'm going to work with this subhead for now. The first thing I'm going to do is reduce the font size so I get it all on one line. So I'm moving this. You can see up here, it's got the name of the font right here. Next to that, it's got the size of the font. And I'm going to go click this negative sign to make it smaller, smaller. Okay, look, it fits there on one line, which I want. But I don't really like that font, so I'm going to try something different. I want to try, I do kind of like the tall, kind of tall, skinny thing. So maybe something like that could work. I want to provide a bit of a contrast because I know that I want my COVID-19 to be big and wide. So maybe this one could work. Let's use that one, and then I'm gonna go down again so it fits. And the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna capitalize everything. Well, maybe the word "the" is gonna be uncapitalized because I kind of like the way it feels. So now I can move this text box up and down. Sometimes you have to click off of something to de-highlight it, and then if you want to move it down, you can just move it around. Now you can see that it's helping me, the program is helping me align things with that little dotted line in the middle. So now I go to text and I'm going to type my headline. So I could go right up here and it says add a heading. Let's do that. And then I'm going to type COVID-19. So usually a dash, right? Okay. And I could put the colon or I could not. Since it's going to be a big heading, I'm going to choose for now and see what it looks like without the heading. So let's go to my, back to my fonts over here, and I'm going to go with something big, something a little more eye-catching. Let's see. I kind of like the look of like something like that. Big old kind of fat font. And I think I'm going to stick with that. That's good. Now I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that, again, it is about the same width of as the subheading. So there you can see it's about 64 points. That should probably do. And again, I'm going to click off of the canvas over here on the side so that I can, so the other thing I can do is hold my shift key. If I hold something, this is kind of a graphic design rule. If you hold the shift key while you're moving something, it'll move it along the horizontal or vertical axis, and you won't go putting it over here or over here. It'll just stay where it needs to stay. So there is that. I'm going to move this up and put it a little bit closer. That spacing looks good. Now I have this line element. This is its own kind of element. I can move that up. I can make it shorter. It's not letting me move it up for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. Oh, I got to click on this and it'll move it up. There's a little icon here. And I can also rotate it. You see a little rotate icon? That is a move icon below next to that. So the other thing I don't like is, let's see, I'm going to make that, I want that line to be a little bit thicker. Is there a way to do that? I'm pretty sure there is a way to do that, but I don't know what it is right now. Okay, we're going to leave it. Again, I don't usually use this platform, but I'm learning as I go. So let's just say I want this, I don't want COVID-19 to be in black. Let's change the color of the font. Over here you see the A with the rainbow underneath it. I'm going to change it to something, again, more like eye-catching. I kind of like the blue, red, and yellow primary color theme that we've got going on right now. So I'm going to try a kind of a dark blue sort of thing. And by the way, document colors, these are the colors that were used in the template originally. So if I want to stick with those, I could just choose one of those, but I can also add any of these others. And I can also even choose my very own color by going to this rainbow thing and just sliding it over till I get something that I like. So let's just say that that's good enough. I might use that color again, and it actually keeps that color. It's now that color. So let's scroll down a little bit. This has got some information, and I'm just looking this over. Let's just say I want to change this element right here. I don't particularly like the way that there's white and gray, and I can't really tell the difference between them very well. So I noticed over here in the elements, there's something that will help me with my graph. Let's see, it's way back up here. So here it is. Now, if I just click on it, you'll notice it's nice and it shows up, but it's too big. And so now I want to make it about the right size, like this, and just put it right above the other one. I could delete the other one, but there's no need to actually, because it's just kind of covering it up. And obviously that's not showing 96%, but look, there's a little tool over here that helps me change that number. And I'm just going to type in 96 and hit return, and there we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the 4%. It's, of course, has to be smaller, just like the other one. Or if I want to make sure that it's exactly the same size, let me delete it. I'm going to highlight this and go copy paste, which is Command C, Command V. And that one is also wrong. It's not, shouldn't be 4%. So I need to make sure it says 4 instead of 96. So it's the opposite. Okay, well, I'm pretty happy with that, the way that looks, but I think this now is too close of a color to this blue. So I'm going to change this blue to, again, some other color. I go to my color palette and I go up in here, maybe something, that's exactly the same color, so that's even worse. What if I chose like an, oh, that's not too great. I can just kind of click around until I find something that I like. That's kind of good because there's a little more contrast between this blue and that kind of greenish gray. Now let's just say I want to change the photo. Okay. Now remember, you can add your own photo. You can have a photo of yourself or your kid or your friend or whatever, and upload it and then just put it right here in your design. But instead, I'm going to go back to photos over here and I'm going to choose one of these. I can't choose that one because it's up for the Pro version. So is that one, so is that one. Let's see if I can find one that I like. I think actually the one that I like was up here. Let's just say that one's free. So let's see if we can try that one. Okay, I'm noticing that I can't actually see it. There it is. It's just taking a little time to show up. So here is this woman with the, I'm just going to put it right over the other one. You know, obviously, it's a little bit too big. So when I grab the corner of this thing, I can just resize it. Or it looks like it's a little bit too, it was too short. So I just pulled it down that way. And now I've got this in there. Now, there's also a way to do a transparency. So it's 100% right now. Let's just say we wanted it to be, oh, well, obviously it's showing us the photo behind there, which we don't particularly want. So let's do this. I'm gonna just move it over slightly and then just hit the delete key on that one. Looks like there's a transparency gets added on top of the photo. So I have to click it twice, it looks like. And I'm just gonna move this right back to where it was. Now that's a little too transparent for sure. So let's go with something like that. It's showing the background a little bit better. So the rest of this looks good. Now look at this, learn more at, that's way too small. So I'm gonna make that bigger. And then I'm gonna try and remember what this font is up here that I used. It's called Horizon. So let's go down to the lower horizon down here and double click that. And then we could probably type in Horizon up here and get the font that we want. So there it is. Again, it's too big because that really is a big fat font, but that one is a little bit better. So I can see that much better, more clearly. I'm not sure I really like the all caps, but I'm gonna leave that for now. Now let's just say I want to change these elements. Of course, I can just change, I can change any of this text. Again, double clicking, I can edit it, I can say something else, whatever, another statistic that I want to add or anything else that I want to add in there. But we're just going to leave that for now. But let's say I want to change that. I want to go back to elements, and then I want to go back to this coronavirus menu, and I'm going to click see all. So it gives me the whole coronavirus menu, a bunch of people, a bunch of scientific looking illustrations. I kind of like this idea of like a one color, kind of this blue color. So I'm going to make this smaller and put it there. And of course, the one that's already there, I'm going to delete that. So I want something over here that's going to kind of match that one. So I think I'm going to use this one. Just move it into place over here, make it smaller. So then I've very easily, I've changed those graphics. You might have liked them, but I just kind of wanted a different look. And now I'm going to revisit this color, which I don't particularly like. I think I want it to be something more, yeah, a little bit more colorful. Maybe that could work well. Again, it's the same color as that one. Or we ended up going back to the same. How about that one, since it kind of matches? Well, let's do even better. Since that one's over there, let's make this, since this illustration is on the right, let's make this one on the left. So I'm going to choose that color for that one. And for this one, I'm going to choose the other color, kind of reverse that. So it's a little more balanced. Now we've got blue, blue, blue in this kind of more balanced kind of way. This color, again, I'm not really liking that. So I'm going to go back and revisit that and just use this same color that we used for the other one. So let's just say I've decided, okay, I'm done. That's my poster. I want to print it out. So one thing you can do is you can share and you can also download. So when you go to download, it's going to ask you to download it generally as a PDF. PDFs are printable by most people, and you can open them in lots of different programs, and they're very versatile. So a lot of things are PDFs these days. So I would download it, click right there and download it. If you haven't signed up for a Canva account, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, you have to sign up for an account, add your email address and all that kind of stuff. And then you can save something. Otherwise, I'm not sure it saves it for you every time you visit. So I could say, even without saving it, actually, it saves it automatically. So if I go back home, I can see my projects. It says your designs, and here is, where is the design that I was just working on? It's still generating the preview. So it's this first one that I was just working on. This is the previous version that I did for myself as practice, and but it basically looks a lot like that. It's still generating. I guess it takes a little while. So anyway, it's saving that, and every time I come back and log in, it'll remember all these designs. So anyway, that was a very quick and relatively down and dirty tutorial on how to use Canva and do a simple infographic. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's useful to you. It's something that you might do in the future. And remember, you can do a lot more things besides infographics. You can do your poster and your design and your CD cover and your even websites and pretty much anything graphic design related, you can do it on Canva. It's a kind of a do-it-yourself thing for people who aren't necessarily designers, but might know a little bit about design or might be interested in design and just want to get communicate in the way that graphic design communicates. So I also said that I would show a little bit of work of mine. I can go to just darrindrda.net. I've got my own website here. It's you can look at books, articles, music, about me, and of course my portfolio is the most important part. I design a lot of book covers. I do other kinds of design. This one is other covers, which are kind of like album covers, CD covers, things like that. Illustration, this is my favorite thing to do, is illustration, especially children's book illustration. I hope to do more of that. If you have any children's books you'd like illustrated, please contact me. I do some animation and some film and video. I do a lot of digital art, and here are some examples of that. And I'm starting to get into creating these animated GIFs of some of this digital art. So that's a fun little thing. This one is not actually, the resolution is not so great, so I got to figure out what to do about that. Anyway, that's just a little bit about me. If you want to know more about it, darrindrda.net. Once again, thanks very much for your kind attention. I hope you learned something. Thanks for Tanya for inviting me to this, and I hope it was useful. Thank you very much.